Hello, hello. Welcome, Facebook friends. Welcome, Facebook strangers, people I don't know. This is Samir Ranpara back again with one more episode of Facebook Live where we talk messenger bots. Um, so far in a series of Facebook Lives, I've been trying to teach how to build messenger bots, how to build marketing messenger bots for your business. And we will continue that discussion today. We will continue to talk about how to set up the bot conversations for uh, for a better user experience. How to set up the bot to talk in a way that it provides a great user experience to the user who is trying to talk with the bot. So far what we have done is we set up a simple bot. We have taught the bot to respond to some of the words, and we have been looking at different entry points, different ways to drive people to start interacting with the bot. Because bot can only initiate the conversation if it has permission. That means people have to come and take an action in Messenger. People either have to click a button in the Messenger or people have to type in something, and that will give the permission to bot to start the conversation. So to reiterate one more time, I'm Samir Ranpara with Chatbot Marketing Center. If you are joining this replay, then say hello, type in the comment, ask your questions, or catch up on previous videos if you are more interested, because I'm going to make some references as I've been trying to build up based on what I taught earlier. And you can catch up on my timeline if you go to Samir, if you search for Samir Ranpara, if you're not in my circle. If you go to my timeline and if you just scroll, they're all public. You should be able to see my previous videos where I talk about messenger bots. So I'm going to switch to screen sharing and we are going to jump right into talking about sequences. That's where we started off last time. I'm going to do a brief recap to kind of help someone who is just new, who is just jumping in today. But yeah, we'll talk about sequences. So let me switch to the screen sharing mode. So there is our ManyChat dashboard. ManyChat is the tool we have been using to build this bot. That's the tool which in my opinion is easier interface for someone who is new to get started with. That's why I chose that tool. But I'm also going to talk about one more tool later on once we make some more progress, talk a little more about bots here. So just to recap a bit, we have been, as I've said, the bot building involves teaching your bot to recognize words, setting up the conversations where bot can send messages, respond to button clicks, or respond to user messages. That's one aspect. But at the same time, if there's no one to talk, then it doesn't matter, right? If we teach the bot to learn a lot, but if there's no one to talk, then that bot is not useful. So while we teach the bot to help users, at the same time we also have to make sure we drive people to the bot. So that's why we have been talking about growth tools also. Growth tools are mechanisms where we can drive people to start. We drive people to Messenger because bot talks within the Messenger, right? It's a Messenger bot. And we use growth tools to drive people to Messenger, and we kind of incentivize people to take action within Messenger, and that's when the bot can start the conversation. We have seen that there are several different ways of doing that, driving people to the Messenger bot through widgets on the website, or through landing page, which is similar like a widget on the website, or through a link, which is the technical term is ref URL. And those two we have been looking at. So today what I'll do is I will again jump into the landing page growth tool. This is the entry point we have been using. And now when I refer entry point is we have a button, we have a landing page. Here's the preview. This is something that this is a fully contained landing page. You don't need a website. You can just have this. ManyChat will give you a link that becomes your landing page. You can send it to the people who you are trying to invite, people who you think might be interested, or promote that link basically. So when we looked that when they click the button here, the landing page will change to the thank you page, and will kind of help guide user to go to Messenger, because if they click the button, that means they want the lead magnet, the freebie. We are offering a guide. We have to give them a reason to go to the Messenger and start conversation with our bot. And the free guide is the free bot guide for businesses is our lead magnet for this example. And now that by clicking the button, user has expressed their interest, and now we are guiding user to Messenger, because that's when they can get the guide. So opt-in actions tab is where you define the opt-in message. We guide user to Messenger. When they land on the Messenger, if they are brand new, they'll see the Get Started button. If they click on the Get Started button, they get subscribed, and they see this message where we kind of we set the expectations that they can stop the bot anytime just by typing word stop or unsubscribe, or they can respond to one of the buttons if they want the guide, which is the reason they are here. They have been looking for the guide, right? So which is the reason they are here. So we just say that, can I use this chat to deliver that guide? So we looked how to set up this message, and yeah, so let's kind of go inside the message. I just clicked edit on the opt-in message, and we have defined the first conversation here. Conversation is a flow. You'll hear the technical term flow, because within ManyChat we refer to a conversation as a flow. And here it is. If they click yes, we deliver the guide. They might change their mind. If they click no, we said no problem. We ask them, is there anything else you can help them with? And you can try to continue the conversation. You can add more steps here, or you can stop. The suggestion is the initial conversation, don't make it too long, but you do want to just deliver the freebie, and then perhaps talk a little more, maybe ask a couple of questions and learn more about them. But then let's say you do that on the first day when they click the button. Now what? You should not stop the conversation, right? Because the person has expressed interest, so it might be valuable for both of you as a business owner and the person to continue the conversation. At least ask the user if they're interested in continuing the conversation. Don't assume that they don't want to talk. They might be interested in kind of learning more about your services and products. So what do you do? So what you do is you start a conversation next day again, right? You deliver the freebie first day, then you stop, and then you start the conversation next day. And that's where the sequences come into picture. Sequences are nothing else but a series of conversations or series of flows. So if I go here under automation, on the left hand side, I just clicked automation, and then I'm going to sequences. And that's where by default there is one sequence that's already there. And what I'm going to do is I'm define a new sequence. Free, I'm just giving it a name, free bot guide sequence, because this is the sequence for people who requested the free bot guide. So there, when you create new sequence, you get a template of sequence where they have pre-populated messages. If you look at that, you'll see The first message title is introduction content plus unsubscribe instructions. This is like this is the recommended flow by the tool ManyChat. They recommend you structure your sequence something like this. That initial message is introductory content as well as unsubscribe instructions. We kind of did that in the opt-in message. You can choose to not do that in the opt-in message but send them directly to sequence, or you can do that in the opt-in message. Actually, my suggestion is in the opt-in message, you talk about the lead magnet as well as you talk about the unsubscribe instructions, and you make them interact with you in the opt-in message. As we'll continue to build more complex cases, you will see that sometimes user will land directly without the get started button, and if your opt-in message doesn't incentivize them to interact, they will not become the subscribers. So you want to do that. You want to kind of make them click a button in opt-in message and then send them over to sequence. That's what I recommended, although later on I'll show you that there are multiple ways of doing that. There are lots of flexibilities in terms of how you set up the welcome message and the sequences. So let's do this. We'll start editing the sequence here. So I just clicked on the first introduction content, and so I'm going to assume that this is what we send them the next day. Okay, this is what we send them the next day. So let me go back to the free bot guide sequence, and I'm going to change the schedule from immediately to days. And I'm going to make it 1 day, and I'm going to save and update schedule, because the first day's conversation I want to do within the welcome message, the opt-in message, at least for this training, this example, and then I want them to subscribe to the free bot guide sequence, which starts the next day. Okay. So again, if you're picking up the replay here, if you're joining live, I am Samir with Chatbot Marketing Center. We talk about messenger bots, marketing messenger bots for businesses, and I'm teaching you how to build messenger bots from scratch. And we are talking about sequences here. Sequences are a series of conversational flows. So now we will edit the message. I always recommend you change the title of the message so it's relevant. So what we are going to do is first day we just delivered the guide, and next day we will start with asking them a question, and then we'll start the educational process. Like I've said earlier, the messenger bot is similar to an email newsletter, where what we want to do is it's educational marketing. We want to build trust by educating prospects. So that's the aim of building the sequence or the series of conversational flows, that we want to educate them about the subject matter, about what they are interested in. So they're interested in the bot guide. So the premise is that they want to learn more about messenger bots. That's the premise. That's the assumption we'll go through. And what we should do is make an assumption and try to build out the conversation around that assumption, the educational conversational flow around that assumption, and try to verify that assumption. Ask questions that kind of validates that assumption. And you will see when I try to ask questions, I'll try to implement that process. So next day, what I want to talk about is, I want to tell them something like, I want to ask them a question For example, let's do this. I'm going to click edit message on the top right corner. And I'm going to go to Flow Builder. Excuse me. I mentioned earlier, Flow Builder gives you a visual impression of the conversational flow. It shows you the tree, the kind of the flow diagram in a way. And I prefer it that way because the other one, the basic editor, basic flow editor, message editor, is it's not visual. So and then you kind of have to go back and forth in order to understand the flow, which can be very tricky. So I highly suggest that you, whenever you can, you switch to Flow Builder and then work within there. So now I'm in the Flow Builder, and this is the starting step. This is the first message for the second day. And what I just click on this box, and it'll open up this slide in editor, and now I can change what I am going to do. So here this message talks about unsubscribe instructions, which I already given them in the message previously. So I'm going to delete that. So here it's talking about remind your subscriber who you are and why they're getting this message. I've done that. Now I want to ask them a question. So I'm going to say that do you regularly engage with your prospects on Facebook? I'm trying to ask them, are they active on Facebook or not, right? Because I don't know, they might not be active on Facebook. And if they're not active on Facebook, it doesn't mean they cannot use Messenger Bot, because Messenger Bot has more than 1.3 billion monthly active users. So even if you as a business owner don't like, and if you're not using Facebook, your prospects, your ideal customers are there on Messenger. So I mean, that's something to look into, right? Something to consider. So I'm going to ask them a question. Do you regularly engage with your prospects on Facebook? And so what are the possible answers that a user can have? I mean, I'm going to stick to yes or no for simplicity here. In theory, you can have more options, but for this example, let's just say one option is yes. If you notice, what I did was below the text message, it'll always give you this option to add buttons. So you can send a message and you can send buttons below that message along with the message. And then so all you're doing is by providing buttons to the user, you are making it easy for the user to respond. Because, you know, it's human nature, right? Sometimes, quite often, we would rather just click buttons than type something. Now there will be cases, and then we'll talk about that you would rather want them to type and not just press button, because sometimes we are looking for interest, and if it's easy, if you make it easy for people to take an action, then even if the person does not have very strong interest, they might take action because it's easy. But sometimes you want to only filter people who have a very strong desire. So that's where you don't want to make it easy. You want to make it a little bit hard, so that you're only you're only talking with people who you want to talk with. So I did yes, and I'm going to add one more button. I'm going to say no here. And whenever you define the edit a button, it'll give you these options. We have talked about this earlier, that a button has to be tied with an action, because you have to define what will happen when user clicks the button, right? You don't want nothing to happen. You want something to happen. So we know that here the user is saying they don't engage on Facebook, right? So what do you want to do when they do that, when they respond with no? We can respond with a message. It gives you a few options. This is something we have talked earlier. You can respond with a message. You can send them to a website when they click that button. You can make them call a number, or you can perform other actions or send them to a different conversational flow. So let's kind of stick to send message again, and you have to click it twice in order to edit that message. So they said they are not engaging on Facebook, right? So what will you respond? Okay, so now I'm gonna kind of talk about the stats that I mentioned earlier. I'm gonna say, did you know that Facebook Messenger has 1.3 billion active monthly users? Even if you're not using Facebook, your ideal customers are definitely there, right? I'm just kind of saying that it might be worthwhile for them investigating this further. And you don't always have to attach buttons to a message, right? You can just stop. That could be your last message. So I'm going to stop because I'm not going to do anything else yet. We'll think about how to kind of make it a more complete conversation. But even, I mean, I'm doing all of this on the go, so as you will see that, you know, sometimes I don't have the best strategy, because for me so far is show you the way of doing things first, so show you how to use the tool more, and then later on we'll kind of get more into the strategies of how to make a conversational flow that helps you achieve the objective that you're looking for, right? Okay, so if they say yes to that question, that yes, they do engage on Facebook, then I'm going to talk about possibility of sending people they engage with on Facebook to Messenger bot, right? I'm going to mention that and see what happens. So again, I'm going to attach a message to that button. Okay, so I'm going to say, great. Did you know there is a way to help people you engage with on Facebook help people even better using Messenger bots? Okay, so they say yes, they engage with people on Facebook. They are the business owner here, and I'm saying, great. Did you know there is a way to help people you engage with on Facebook even better using Messenger bots? Okay, so something like that. Now I asked the question next day, do you regularly engage with your prospects on Facebook? I gave them two options, yes and no, and I tied a response to both yes and no. So this could be my conversation for a day, right? Like, I just ask them a question. Typically, I don't recommend that. I always recommend that you do ask questions, but you teach them something new. Although I did teach them something new, right? I gave them some statistics about what's happening that might be useful to them. I also told them that if they're already engaging on Facebook platform, there are ways to even better serve the prospects they are engaging with using Messenger bots. I haven't told the details yet, right? So just keep in mind that this is like more for example purposes, but keep in mind that you should always be educating them. You know, of course, always, you know, ask questions and make offers, but most of the time you should be educating. So build everything, keep that at the back of your mind, right? Because that will help you the most building trust because when you are educating a lot, providing a lot of free value, a free educational content that is useful to your prospects, that's where you will become the trusted advisor in their mind. So I'm going to publish this now, and so there you go. I defined that. Now I haven't changed, sorry, I was talking about this earlier, but I haven't changed the title for the second day. I can say that question about Facebook engagement. Okay, so there you go. I have published it already. The only thing that I need to do is make it active. By default, it's not, all these messages are not active, and I want to make it active. So this is our sequence, which once you subscribe, after you subscribe someone to this sequence, remember, you can subscribe people to sequences and unsubscribe them. The first message, which is the question about Facebook engagement, which is active now, will be sent to the subscriber after 1 day. 1 day after they are subscribed to the sequence. So now let me show you how you can tie this in with our landing page example. So I'm going to go back to Growth Tools. I'm going to click on the landing page free guide, and I'm going to go to opt-in actions. Right, the opt-in actions, and now remember at the bottom here, add subscriber to sequence. If I click there, I'll see my sequence listed here, free bot guide sequence. So there you go. What will happen is when people land on Messenger by clicking that button on the landing page, they will first see the Get Started button on Messenger. Once they click Get Started button, they'll see this welcome message, which clarifies how they can unsubscribe. I always recommend you do that as the first thing. And you are letting them know that you are a bot. I mean, this is a bot. You are letting them know that how they can unsubscribe. And you are basically reminding them that they were here for the guide and I can deliver that, right? So you do that, but then at the same time, you are also subscribing them to the free bot guide sequence, which will ask them question about the Facebook engagement the next day. So I'm going to click next here, and there you go. That's the landing page. So you can see there is an option of Facebook Pixel ID, and we'll talk about pixels later on. Don't have to worry about that right now, but you are good. So this is your landing page. If I click on that, it'll take me to the page. That's my landing page. I can send this to people who might be interested in this one, people who I know, right? People with whom I'm in contact with. It could be your followers, it could be your email subscribers, and that's where we can get them to subscribe to our bot, and we can start educating them. So hopefully it makes sense now how the whole process works. It is kind of it's kind of a funnel, right? So we are kind of starting with the landing page with the lead magnet, and then we are delivering the lead magnet, the free guide, through Messenger, and then we start educating them in the Messenger. And once we have done enough education, and I'll define enough education later on, we can kind of let them know about our products and services. So hopefully this makes sense. Again, I invite you, if you happen to watch this replay, please say hello in the comment, ask me questions, catch up on other videos. If you go search for Samir Ranpara and go to my timeline on Facebook, and you will see all the previous videos. Like every single day I post one video here, and they all kind of build up on top of each other. They may not be titled the best way currently, but I'm changing that. I'm going and editing the title of all the previous videos so that it makes sense. It's you can pick so that you can easily pick video that you are looking for. So again, thank you so much for watching this. If you happen to watch this, I greatly appreciate your time. Please help me share this, spread message about this. If you think anyone might be interested, share this video. Give me feedback. If you find me boring, let me know what I need to change. I am looking for feedback. I want to kind of spread this out to more people who will find this useful. Okay, so thank you so much, and you have a wonderful rest of the day. Bye.